What's up, guys? Megalopolis, new movie by Francis Ford Coppola. He is one of the most legendary filmmakers, needs no introduction. I could go in on the decades spanning production troubles this movie has had, or the string of controversies that have erupted ever since its Cannes Film Festival premiere a couple months ago. I've also been kind of critical over the social media for this movie. I don't really know if it's all that good. The whole rotate your phone in 3, 2, 1, a little dumb, but now that I've seen this movie, I understand how hard it is to sell. It's not perfect, but the passion on display is insurmountable. And at 85 years old, with this potentially being Francis Ford Coppola's last movie, this is a really good place to end things off on. This movie takes place in a neo New York City called New Rome, and the affluent people on here are almost treated like Roman figures. And Adam Driver plays Caesar. He is this semi-cancelled futuristic architect who can conveniently stop time. He is a true artist in that regard. And the mayor of New Rome, Cicero, has colliding views with Caesar in regards to what the future of the city is going to look like. The mayor projects the idea of like a casino in the middle of the city, whereas Caesar is more concerned with removing a lot of the excess that is sucking the people's wallets and their souls. And this all gets challenged when the mayor's daughter, Julia, falls for Caesar, and the two of them have a very similar vision on what they want the city to look like, and the two of them begin working together. Things challenge them too, like Cicero, Caesar's cousin, who is jealous of Caesar's prowess. And there's also Wow Platinum, who is this TV personality and also groupie of Caesar. There's a lot here to follow, and it's not like it comes out more digestible when watching this movie. You do have to focus in and try your best following it all. I find it rewarding, but there's so many things on this movie that will deter people one way or another. It's very ambitious on every level, not just in terms of scope, but form itself. You don't know what the next scene is going to pull at you. So much so that towards the end, with some of the wild cards they threw out, I was flinching at them. One of those in particular was an actual human coming out into our audience and asking Caesar questions on the movie. I was lucky enough to have a screening that offered such a thing. This movie tries everything but the kitchen sink. There are truly ridiculous scenes on this movie. Ones that if I were to explain to you right now, you wouldn't believe me. And still, I found it so deep in theme. I love this pure and optimistic view of the future. Also, the appreciation of the arts, not just cinema. This movie has such an operatic feel to it with the title cards and just how theatrical these performances can get. There's also this joyous and almost childlike sense of wonder here. This movie has a lot of jokes. It tries to be funny often, sometimes it is. It is also quite dark at times. It delves into the worldly views of ego, youth, intoxication, politics, the fabrications of our mainstream media. And while it is all pretty original, I also couldn't help but to think of the movie Cosmopolis, not just in its light sci-fi aesthetic and futuristic, odd-looking New York City, but in its views on utopia and class. The visuals on Megalopolis often look dated, and then other times they're dazzling. Also found all the performances very entertaining. Adam Driver is perfect in the role, and we saw on Annette how theatrical he can be, and he definitely goes all the way here. Nathalie Emanuel was lovely and a convincing muse. Shia LeBeouf was bringing his physical comedy. He was funny and always a pretty decent wild card character, as is Aubrey Plaza, who kind of reminded me of like Harley Quinn. And as a potential swan song, I found it kind of perfect for that. This happens to be a movie about everything, and There's a ton of philosophical one-liners, but I love the idea stated how our life is what our thoughts make it. Love is presented so pure here. The idea that being in true love with somebody will elevate the work that you do. Making stuff, creating things can put what you know as time on pause. It's just a really beautiful sentiment, and I think it's a great way to end a big filmography. I don't really know if I would rewatch this movie. It is very exhausting, and I don't know if this would have kept my attention as well as it did in theaters, like at home, but I am a fan of this movie, and I'm definitely open to revisiting it at some point soon. I think if you are curious, definitely go watch this movie, and even if you are skeptical, I think it's worth your time. You're not going to really see anything else like it this year. I found it to be a nice movie about how people play a role in your lives. At least that's what I got out of it. I would give Megalopolis an 8.0. It is released by Lionsgate and playing in theaters everywhere September 27th. Thank you for watching.